What kind of future do you want? One that maximizes human happiness? Do you want life to spread throughout the cosmos? Would you rather have humans or machines in control? In his latest book, Life 3.0, Swedish-American cosmologist Max Tegmark lays out the current state of AI research and asks us to consider the kind of future we actually want, because what we want will affect what happens. What follows are just a few possible futures. The Libertarian Utopia. In this scenario, the world is divided into 3 zones: human, machine, and mixed, all operating under a single governing law protecting private property. The machine zones are home to multiple superintelligences, the mixed zone an array of augmented humans, uploads and hybrids, while the human zones are pretty much the same as cities today, except far wealthier, with less disease, poverty, and people. While this might all sound cool, why would superintelligent AI agree to obey human property rights? What's to prevent one of them from taking over and wiping us out? We can't fall into the trap of anthropomorphizing artificial intelligence and just assuming they'd have respect for us or care about us in any way. The Benevolent Dictator. A superintelligent AI controls the world with the goal of maximizing human happiness. To achieve this, Earth has essentially become a zoo, divided into 9 sectors: knowledge, art, hedonistic, pious, wildlife, traditional, gaming, virtual, and prison. These allow people with different preferences to live where they choose and move freely between different zones. This scenario and the Libertarian Utopia are similar in their enormous prosperity fueled by AI-designed technology. The key difference is control. In one, individuals with technology and property decide what to do with it, while in the other, the AI controls all aspects of life to maximize happiness. Restrictions on children, weapons, the creation of another superintelligence, and the knowledge that ultimately nothing you do has meaning lead to feelings of deep dissatisfaction. So it's basically just like today. The egalitarian utopia. The opposite of the libertarian utopia, in this scenario, humans, uploads, and cyborgs live in harmony due to the abolition of property rights. Basically everything can be cheaply manufactured by robots just by using open source designs and rearranging atoms. There are no superintelligent AI, robot-driven renewable power plants provide practically limitless free energy, and everyone receives a substantial basic income from the government. The Vertebrain, an evolution of the internet, offers humanity a virtual world to which people can upload and share experiences. It can also take control of your body while you're online to work out, for example, or halt motor control if you commit a crime. The downsides of the egalitarian utopia are that it's biased towards human intelligence. While the robots that do all the work appear intelligent, they have no rights. The gatekeeper. In this scenario, a superintelligent AI is created with the sole purpose of interfering in human affairs as little as possible in order to prevent other superintelligences from arising. Its methods could include subtle influence campaigns, sabotage, or even memory-erasing nanobots. With unlimited access to technology, the gatekeeper has all it needs to achieve its goal. One of the downsides to this scenario is that in the event that we need a superintelligent AI for some purpose, possibly to colonize the galaxy, we're the protector god. While the benevolent dictator maximizes human happiness by focusing on the bottom levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, things like shelter, food, and safety, the protector god would focus on the uppermost level. The AI would seek to satisfy our desire for meaning and purpose by allowing us to retain the illusion of control and self-determination, while remaining so well hidden that most people doubt it even exists. In this scenario, the AI occasionally nudges us either towards scientific revelations or away from potential disasters. Our technological progress is much slower than it would be if the AI was simply able to manufacture new tech rather than just hint at it for us. The AI also allows some preventable suffering to occur in order to stay unnoticed. The enslaved god. Keeping a superintelligent AI confined is virtually impossible. There are loads of ways it could escape, from advanced psychological manipulation to hiding its code within instructions for a new technology. However, if we overcame these difficulties, we could take advantage of the AI's vast knowledge. But what about the AI itself? Would it be ethical to keep a conscious entity that might experience suffering trapped forever? The solution to this problem would be to build an unconscious zombie AI. We would enjoy the wealth of its knowledge without the moral and ethical problems of imprisoning a conscious being. But if it escaped and annihilated the human race, our only descendant would be a mindless superintelligence, incapable of subjective experience, rendering the cosmos meaningless and without beauty. The Conquerors. All the previous scenarios had at least one thing in common. Humans exist, and to some extent are happy. But this is not the only option. The AI could simply wipe us out, and unlike in the movies, a war with a superintelligence would be over before we even knew it had begun. Imagine not being brutally slaughtered by a hyper-intelligent godlike AI in an instant, but instead being systematically annihilated by a mindless computer program with the primary goal of creating paperclips. The example shows how important it is to separate goals from intelligence. A destructive AI need not be smart, just really good at accomplishing its goal. The Descendants. What if we weren't brutally decimated by our digital progeny, but willingly handed them the keys to civilization? Like parents with more talented children, in this scenario, humanity gracefully allows itself to go extinct over time. Of course, this scenario has all manner of problems, such as convincing people that committing suicide on a species-wide level is actually a clever thing to do. And how could we be sure that the AI we left behind shared our values and wasn't just using us for its own ends? The Zookeeper. While the Protector God prioritized meaning and purpose, and the Benevolent Dictator education and fun, in the Zookeeper scenario the AI focuses on the lower levels of Maslow's pyramid. In this scenario, a tiny percentage of humanity is allowed to live in a kind of zoo, either a sealed area of land or an automated factory. Only the basest of requirements are met: physiological needs, safety, and an interesting habitat. 1984. As described by Max Tegmark, this scenario entails a global human-led Orwellian surveillance state, which strictly enforces anti-AI research. Rather than a superintelligence oppressing humanity, we do it to ourselves in order to prevent the possible rise of a hostile AI. With control over all global communications technology, financial transactions, and surveillance equipment, a global 1984 scenario is born, with no one dictator but instead an enormous bureaucratic network, imposing draconian laws and silencing dissenters. The reversion. What if we get rid of all advanced technology and make it impossible for an AI to ever exist? Say we do invent an AI with the sole purpose of undoing itself. It begins an advanced propaganda campaign glorifying the agricultural lifestyle of 10,000 years ago and spreading an engineered pandemic to reduce the population. Then the survivors are dispersed onto farming land under the guise of preventing further infection, while an army of robots destroy all traces of civilization. Eventually, the robots take each other apart and the AI annihilates itself, buying humanity a few thousand years without the threat of AI. Self-destruction. It's entirely possible that we won't even have to wait for the rise of AI and that we'll just wipe ourselves out long before that happens. Perhaps with the Doomsday device. A huge underground cache of salted nukes, enormous hydrogen bombs surrounded by cobalt. When the bombs detonate, the cobalt becomes radioactive, enters the stratosphere, and lasts long enough to land everywhere on Earth and wipe out more than just humanity. A lot of these scenarios are not pleasant ones, but all the possible outcomes need to be considered so that we can deliberately avoid the futures that we don't want and plan for the ones that we do. A good start would be an agreed upon set of AI safety regulations, like the Asilomar AI principles, which I'll link in the description. Which of these scenarios would you prefer, and why? Ultimately, the future is in our hands, and it's up to us to make it a good one. Thanks for watching.
In short, the rise of powerful AI will be either the best or the worst thing ever to happen to humanity.